So if you are a new mum who is wondering what to pack in your hospital bag, I am going to share with you everything that I am taking as a mum of six who is only packing the essentials. So my name is Rebecca. I'm currently, as you can see, 37 weeks pregnant plus a few days, and I'm going to be induced at the weekend. So I've just started packing my hospital bag to make sure that I have everything ready, but also making sure that I am only packing what I actually need. So the first thing I would say is make sure that you have a wheelie suitcase, because the thing is your partner will probably end up carrying the baby in the car seat, which means that you're going to have to carry everything else. And if you've had a difficult labour or delivery, you are not going to want to be carrying hundreds of bags. So I know there's loads of temptations to take 100 different bags with you, but the reality is you're going to have to carry that and you don't want to. Also, what I would say on that as well is in the UK, the NHS is quite brutal here. So once you've had your baby, as long as there's no complications, they literally want you to go home. And I have had, obviously, 5 labours already. And in one of those, they literally gave me like an hour and then I was out and they wanted me to go home. And I had to kind of say, can I stay a little bit longer, please? I don't want to go home. My other kids are there. I would like to have, a couple of hours apiece before I go home. I just pushed out a person. So equally, don't think that you're going to be there for a really long time after baby. So obviously in the car seat, I am taking a snowsuit for the baby to come home in, which is super cute. So I've got a little snowsuit with ears, which I'm really excited about because obviously it's January here, so it's absolutely freezing. And then I've just got a little pink blanket to pop over the top, and that should be enough to take them home. Something I've also done, so you might find this, if you have already got children and your partner is obviously, if you go into unexpected labour, it might be that your partner actually can't go with you straight away. So this is the dilemma that we face at the moment, in that my closest relative is like an hour away. So there may be, if for instance I go in spontaneous labour between now and Saturday when I'm due to have my induction, then my partner's going to have to stay with the kids whilst I go to the hospital, because obviously we'll have to wait for babysitters and all the things. So that is a very real circumstance once you start getting into like multiple children and births. So what I have done is I have actually added a little bag, which is everything that I need for the baby. If, God forbid, I was to go into labour by myself, I don't want to be carrying my bag, the car seat, the hospital bag and the baby's bag and all the things. So I've just put her first outfit and everything that I'm going to need in a separate bag, and that is going in my bag. Equally, if you know that you've got like a nice organised induction, you can obviously just put that straight into the baby's bag. So what I've got in here is I have got a little hat, which is tiny, because obviously babies get really cold and they have to have their head covered when they first come out. I've got some nappies that will see us through to at least when he gets there. I've got a muslin and some baby wipes, and then I've got like a little first outfit baby grow with a little vest. So I already know that she is around 6.5 pounds, but I've also taken some bigger sizes just in case, because I once had a baby that was nearly 10 pounds that was not expected to be that big. And obviously all of the first size newborns didn't even touch the sides, but fortunately I had some 0 to 3 month outfits in there just in case, because he was giant. So equally what that helps with is if anything happens to me or I'm having checks and they need dad to get the baby ready, he's already got everything that he needs, like an idiot proof guide, because we know what dads are like when they're searching through bags. And there is nothing more annoying when you have just pushed out a human and you are getting your checks done and you're, if you've had gas and air and you're trying to like come back into the room to be asked 1,000 questions about where are the nappies, where are the baby wipes, what does the baby need, da, 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 da. So it's also a good idea to have all of that ready in a separate bag anyway, whether you're planning, whether you might end up at the hospital by yourself or whether you just want to have it there so there's less thinking in the moment. That, you know, it's always a really great idea. So I've got this little wheelie suitcase that I'm going to be taking because, like I say, it just makes it so much easier when you're leaving the hospital not to have loads of bags and things to carry. Be prepared because there is a chance that you may end up staying. I've had instances where the labour was actually, you know, perfectly fine, but then because the baby had, you know, a tiny little thing, we've ended up staying in overnight, and then the next day it can take a long time to get discharged, and I didn't have enough like nappies, baby wipes, those sorts of things with me, so my partner had to like bring in extras. So now I just always pack that we're going to be there a couple of days and then hopefully we won't. So what I am taking is, I've also got another, if it's like super cold, and again it depends what time of day you get discharged, whether it's the summer, whether it's the winter, but I've also got a winter set of hat and mittens as well, just in case. So what else have I got in here? I have got some fun things in here for the babies. So I've obviously got nappies, and I would say just take a whole packet of nappies because you never want to run out. As much as the wards are usually really nice and they will give you extra things, you don't want to be waiting around. What I found, particularly in the UK, is that you spend a lot of time on your own as a new mum because obviously they're prioritising the people that are in labour. And if you've got questions and things like that, it can be quite difficult to get hold of midwives when you need them. So typically when I'm at home and changing baby's nappy and doing all of those things, I would use cotton wool and distilled water, and I would boil it in the kettle, wait for it to cool down, and then I would use like really pure water on the baby's skin. Obviously, so I did that before when I went into hospital, and the reality was I couldn't get hold of a midwife to get me clean water to use for the baby. So now I actually use baby wipes, and that's absolutely fine. Like, just take them. I use the pure water ones. I was just wondering, I haven't put those in the bag yet, or have I? No, I don't think I've put them in the bag yet, so I have to add those. Just for convenience and just so that you can kind of get into your flow without having to ask every 2 seconds, I need something. So in addition to that, I am fully intending to breastfeed, and I've breastfed all of my 5 kids, but every pregnancy is different, and sometimes things come up and you can't do the things that you want to do, and that's absolutely fine. Or I once had a really long labour where it was like 2 days and I was so exhausted that the baby then wouldn't settle that evening, and I was literally like losing my mind because I was so tired from the labour. Had her all day at the hospital, and then obviously she didn't sleep in the night. And actually one of the midwives just came in and said, can I take baby and give her a bottle? And I was like, yes, please. Because obviously your milk isn't in then either. So it can be quite difficult to settle a baby in those first couple of days. So she was an angel sent from Jesus. I'm sure of it. But now what I do is pack one of these. So these are like newborn starter kits. They are, you can get them from, this one's from Aptamil, but you can get lots of different brands. They've got a really long shelf life, so this one is good and for like the next 5 months. So even if I don't use it at the hospital, I can just have it in my bag or have it in the cupboard if, you know, like I say, I'm ill or somebody else wants to help with feeding the baby. Like, never say no to help. It takes a village, ladies. So this is from Bath, and it's like the first infant milk starter pack. So it gives you 6 bottles in it that are already sterilised. So that's the thing as well. when you get into hospital, you're not going to have access to a sterilizer to sterilize bottles and make them up. So even if you're not intending to breastfeed and you want to bottle feed the baby, having these is a godsend, because again, you're not waiting on midwives to warm up bottles, to sterilize them and get them ready. So this comes with these little teats that are already sterilized and then kind of put into these little separate containers, and then you get the bottles. So that would literally go on top of there and you're good to go. Like, you don't need anybody else's help, you don't need to wait. Obviously I would store these at room temperature, and I've never warmed up bottles anyway if I've ever done like combination feeding with babies, because then you make a rod for your own back. They won't take it unless it is warmed up, and if it's not always the most practical thing, you can't always get access to a bottle warmer. So, and that's totally personal preference. Like, my babies, I breastfed them anyway, so it was kind of a moot point, but they would on occasion take a bottle at room temperature. So I would say get yourself one of those, just so you've got options, even if it is a case of like dad wants to give a bottle to the baby. That's always really nice, like bonding time. So I've got obviously cotton wool just in case. I've got some nappy cream, again just in case, not necessarily for the nappy cream, but for their bums, because they're not really going to have nappy rash when they come out. But sometimes they can have like super dry skin, or they can scratch their faces, or they just, I don't know, just you might need it for something, like around the umbilical cord and things. I've also got some scratch mittens, just in case they come out with super long nails. Like, this is the thing, ladies, and I didn't know, I've had babies that have come out with like the longest hair, looking like Elvis because she was 2 weeks overdue, and babies that have come out with like full set of nails. And obviously, you know, you could take a nail clipper set if you wanted to just kind of cover that off if that happens, but you don't want them to be scratching their face, because there's nothing worse, because their skin is so sensitive. So I always take little scratch mittens just in case. I've obviously got extra vests, just in case we do end up staying in, you know, so if you have the baby at night and then you have to wait till the morning to be discharged, you'll be surprised how many times they might need changing in that time. So I've got some vests, again, different sizes. So some of these are like first size newborn, and then I've also got the 0 to 3 months, just in case she comes out a little bit bigger. I've got a cellular blanket. Now again, the maternity ward will give that to you if you need it, but this is really, it's just handy to have them anyway, because you use them for everything. So you can use them for swaddling, you can use them just to kind of wrap them up in for the skin to skin, if you don't want to put them straight into clothes, which is quite nice. So I've always got an extra one of those. I've got different baby grows. So again, the wards are quite hot. So I've got a little kind of fleecy one, but I don't think that we'll probably use that, because these cotton ones are perfect, because otherwise they can, you know, it can be really warm in those wards. I've got these muslin cloths, so I've got a few of those. So you can use those to, you know, if you're feeding the baby, to either put over yourself, put over them, but you can also use them if you don't have changing, like a changing mat or something to put the baby on, and you're just changing the baby on the bed. So you could put this down first, just to kind of, you know, make it a bit nicer, softer, protect them a little bit more. I've got nappy bags. Again, like you're going to use these for everything, for you, for the baby, sanitary towels, dirty nappies, sick. It's so gross what happens to you when you have a baby. And then finally, oh, I've also got this, which is just something that I bought on Temu, which is like a little announcement plaque. Obviously not an essential, but I'm just excited. So I've got a little pen that goes with that for the baby, which just says hello world, and I'll put her details on, like her birth date and weight. And then the final thing is her coming home outfit. So I've got this little one which says little sister, which is super exciting, and then I've just got her a cardigan to go with it as well. So you always need I think my midwife always said to me, however many layers you're wearing, like add at least one extra layer for the baby. So you'd always have a vest, you'd always have a baby grow, but if you would like typically wear, you know, a bra and a top, then the baby needs a cardigan on top of that because they might get cold. So that is just a little cardigan that I'll be popping on her as well. And that is pretty much it, actually. That's, you know, it looks a lot in the suitcase, but essentially it's nappies, baby wipes, bottle starter kit, muslin cloths, a blanket, and outfits. And that's pretty much it. That's all you need. I know there's lots of like other things that you could probably take, but genuinely, if you're either doing it on a budget, you don't want to carry loads of stuff, or you don't want to feel overwhelmed when you open that bag and it's just got so much stuff, then these are all the things that I would recommend.